Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video of me showing off some of my newest rank 5s. The first rank 5 I'll be showing is Spiral. She was gonna be my first Mystic rank 5, and I decided that a long time ago when rank 5s were kind of announced, and I had like a thought process of, okay, well, who do I want to take up from each class? I kind of like debated hard on a lot of characters around that time. And especially the Mystic class, because the Mystic class is super broken right now, especially in the next month or so, where Madeline Pryor comes out and all that. So she's very overpowered, and the new Ghost Rider seems really cool too. He might be like my next rank, my second rank 5 Mystic whenever I get there eventually. But yeah, I want to take up Spiral because she does some insane stuff, man. Like, she, honestly, I feel is not necessarily underrated anymore, especially since you can ascend her now, compared to other Mystics, and the Mystics in the Ascension pool as well. But she just does some crazy stuff, dude. She has the utility, she has, defensive capabilities on defense. She can stall with her, Spiral Swords and how long her animations take. And at rank 5, she's incredibly tanky. If anybody who has her, you in Ascendant as well, she has I believe 100,000 and 150,000 health, which is pretty insane. So she's kind of tanky if you don't have a good counter, and slow as well. But aside from all that, yeah, I love her, man. She just does damage. She deals rupture damage, which, again, like I always said, and then what I always love, a lot of champs that deal rupture damage is that there's not a lot of counters, even now still. She deals with power gain pretty well, and just insane power gains from any cosmics, or just from nodes in general. If ideally you want to do a matchup where the opponent is always gaining power, because Spiral herself steals power and gains more power if the opponent is gaining power, which is really nice and really awesome. And make sure to get their specials faster, and it ends fights a lot faster as well. Now, one thing, her major thing in her kit is the Spiral Swords after her special attacks, which lead up into her combos, or if you can also use them in a certain way to if the opponent is rushing in, you can just swipe up on while she's blocking to kind of intercept the opponent with your swords. That is something that's not something I usually ever do in matchups where you want to be fast. Of course, it's not really needed, or you don't really want to do that. You always just want to use it into your combos to get another combo, basically, so you can nuke opponents faster. And in the footage you're seeing in the background, one of her best opponents is a Serpent, literally built for Serpent, one of the best counters now. Or was it then, and it still is now, I would say. And arguably can be faster than other Mystics, I would say, like Nico. But that really depends on nodes, metas, and kind of how fast each one is. Rank 5s now, you gotta consider that too. But yeah, she just is crazy, as you can see from the footage. Her special burst damage that she gains from her special 1s and 2s, I'm not really sure if they count as burst mechanics. I do believe they are, because against Yelena, who I tested against, she does seem to cap the damage, but against Captain Britain, she doesn't really seem to cap that damage for some reason. And you'll see that in a second too. I wouldn't really recommend her for doing Britain unless you just had nobody else, just because her dealing the dot damages, ruptures, and then her having to get knocked down a lot, it's not really wanted for an ideal matchup against Britain. But she could kind of do her in a scenario where you had nobody else to use, but again, I don't really recommend it. But yeah, it's probably just insane, man. She's, with her Sig ability as well, for each fervor that she gains, for each one that stacks, pretty much, she can pretty much just reduce the duration of shocks, incinerates, and bleeds. Not bleeds, sorry, shocks, incinerates, and poisons, actually, not bad. By pretty much 100% and more than that. And it's just crazy, her utility. So she's also immune to Falter. I don't really showcase that, but because there's not too many champs actually that really apply Falter to you. Now, if there's a node where you get debuffed by Falter, it's actually really good, and Spiral can bypass that very easily. So she can't directly counter miss. She directly counters Falter. It's that specific. Something I will also show later on is that if there's any champion or any node that affects the ability accuracy of stuns, or stun durations, I should say, Spiral actually does also have an immunity, basically an immunity to that as well. You'll see in a second, like in a few minutes, I will showcase a fight against a Red Skull, and who is a very annoying defender. I occasionally don't really see him in a lot of people's decks, but people still do use him, and fighting a rank 4 is like a pain in the ass. But Spiral is a really good counter for Red Skull, because no matter how many armors that he has, past the 6, it's like that's when he's stun immune. When he gets to 6+ armor, Spiral just doesn't really care about that. You just play the fight normally, and that's it. She also has a very unique way to get rid of debuffs, which is anytime the opponent is blocking an attack, or sorry, when you're blocking an attack or using your swords to swipe up, she pretty much like deletes the buffs on the opponent. Not all of them at once, but like one by one. I do believe it might actually be all at once. I'm not really sure. I kind of pay attention sometimes, but yeah. As you will see in the showcase too, one of her biggest matchups is Dark Phoenix, and I only have a 6-star. But when her immortality is up, all you have to do is let her hit your block, or swipe up when her buff is the regular buff, not when it's a passive, because you can actually mess up and get rid of the buff early, or you can mess the fight up, so you have to be a little bit careful about that. But yeah, I would just recommend, if you're gonna do that, just throw her in her block and be very safe about it. But that's also one of her biggest other utilities, is that her Spiral Swords basically, sorry if I can find it here, basically they destroy each Fury, Precision, Unblockable, Death Immunity, Immortality, and Indestructible buff on the opponent, which also makes her a very good counter to Heimdall. Probably like one of the better counters, I would say, because Heimdall can be annoying. You might not see him too much in a lot of people's decks if you don't have a max 6, because you ideally do want that. But he can be like very annoying, very stalling, just very tanky like at all times. But Spiral is a really perfect counter to him, because she steals his power gain, which he does gain during a fight usually, and it gets up their specials really fast. When he gets to the Indestructible, as long as you have your swords up and you either block a hit or throw your swords into his block, he'll pretty much just like die, and you'll end the fight like pretty quickly, which that is a very big thing. So if you don't have somebody like Absman or somebody who can really deal with that, or another Mystic who can really deal with that, I should say, Spiral is an amazing counter. So yeah, and I would also say too is that the reason I kind of in a way counter her utility with her special damage in terms of the burst is because it seems to really ignore a lot of armor and any really like physical or energy like resistances, because Iron Man is very tanky, and while it's not in a quest, he's not quest tanky, he's just like the dual like tanky, she still deletes herself pretty fast. And of course the Iron Man was like my Iron Man is like a rank 4, not rank 5. But even then, that like it was a very big chunk of health that she just straight up just deleted like it was nothing. So that's very awesome, very satisfying to see, and all that. So yeah, she's pretty versatile. There's only really a few cosmics that she wouldn't be able to take, such as like as an example is Hulkling. Hulkling is very weird in that he's power still immune, so she won't be gaining that insane power like she normally would, but she still can do the fight. So I wouldn't really recommend it in a battleground situation or in a questing situation. In a questing situation, it should be fine, but in a battleground situation, you might like kind of take too long and lose. But yeah, so right there in the Carolina fight, as an example, is that for each buff on the opponent, Spiral's personal ruptures potency are increased by 10%. So the more buffs the opponent has, the more damage you deal. Now, I will say this is that with the way it's stated in her kit, there seems to be no limit. So if an opponent had like, let's say 99 buffs of something, her rupture damage would probably be insane, and in turn, I do believe it would increase her special like burst damage that she gets, which is just insane like to think about. Now there's not really a good way to test that, at least on my end. I'm not sure if anybody's like out there who has tried doing anything like that, but she can end Carolina very, very fast. And again, just showcasing some other defenders here like Gene and all that. Red Skull right there, you saw him just being like getting parried like very easily as a normal fight, where normally for other champions it would not be that easy. And I do understand that a lot of people may not like to use Spiral because she is very unique in the way you have to play her. You have to play her mixed master style, where what I mean by that is you have to do lights, medium, light, medium for most of her combos. There is another alternate combo you can kind of do, but to me that one is the most efficient. Light, medium, light, medium. and then occasionally throwing like a backdash or not. Just because the way she works is very unique. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with Spiral as a rank 5, and I think she's going to do some crazy work. Right here I'm showcasing her special 3 as well. Now, I'm not necessarily sure which Battle Cast relic is best for Spiral, if any of them really are. Maybe the Ghost Rider relic for the increased potency on dot damage dealing, but I would really say her best special, sorry, not special, her best relic would be a stat cast that would increase her special damage, or maybe critical rating, maybe her block proficiency as well, like one of those 3, and for her preferred chosen attack stat on attack would be special damage, I would say. To me, those seem to be like the best for her. But if like if you recommend anything else, you know, do tell. But I think to me that's what her best like stats like wise would be. And so my second, actually no, fifth, sorry, would be Emma Frost. Now the reason why I decided to rank her up to rank 5 from the trade-in gem we got from the event is because Emma Frost is my first A2 Ascension level mutant, as well as just my second Ascension level 2 mutant besides Lizard, and she is actually pretty insane. Now, I always did like Emma Frost, but I never really had the chance to use her. I ranked her up as rank 4 like a while, like months ago, I would say. But as you will see, her damage is just like absolutely just insane, man. She does almost 50k medium like heavy attack damages, or just like damage in general. Like it's like in the 40s, like 45s, like 50k's, like it's crazy. And then her special 2 damage, as everybody knows who's played her and just like used her out for a little bit, is just insane. 200. I've been hitting like 200k special 2s, almost 300k special 2s at times with like max the max prowesses, and hitting her like and using the storm relic before that. She's just crazy. She ends fights so fast. It's actually so wild, man. And she's also another good dual threat as long as you have her at max rank, like Sig. Because the way her Sig works is that if she would loses any more like than 5% of her health, she auto, assuming she's in telepath form, if she loses 5% health, she goes back to her diamond form and just becomes tanky again for a little bit. Against Tex, it's based off her max health. And yeah, and then also when she's awakened, this might throw some people off too. If they're not like really ready for it, or if like the AI throws the special like at like a very wrong time, like let's say when they dash in they don't have the chance to go back, or if they just kind of throw it like at a point to where like the opponent is not like really expecting it. Her special is being reverse controls, and like, you know, she plays a reverse controls if she is awakened, only if she's awakened. Which some people who fight her, I mean, her specials are easy to dodge, but like if you get like caught, you are going to take a lot of damage, assuming you are not very resistant to energy damage, which is, I do believe, was what it deals. Now, as you will see with a lot of the fights, is the rotation you want to do is throw out 3 heavies, parry, and her one of the I should say utilities about her is that when she heavies an opponent in diamond form, the opponent gains basically no power. It is incredibly reduced, and Emma Frost actually gains 50% more power, I do believe, from using those heavies in diamond form, which gets you equally to the special 2 a lot faster to do your rotation, that's kind of the point. Some of the other fights I'm kind of showing against like some meta defenders in a way, while it's not like the perfect showcasing. Basically, she can do somebody like Paviter, because when he evades, which is very annoying, whenever you're in telepath form for Emma, telepath form gives you the utility of countering evade in a very passive way. So she does not place any debuffs, of course, minus some of her like stuff. But when in telepath form, she auto ignores any evade, which makes her a very great bullseye counter. She's not, again, the perfect counter for bullseye, but she is pretty amazing as long as you get good AI and like your fight does not go like too terribly wrong. So she can do a lot of like defenders, really. She might not be the fastest, but with mine being rank 5 A2, she might actually be like pretty decent for a lot of defenders that I might not necessarily try to do with her. And she's especially like a very big stall on defense, because a lot of the tech champions, minus like Sentinel, to my mind, like Nimrod to her is very slow, because if she's in diamond form, you have to take it kind of slow. Jack-o'-lantern is very slow as well, because even though he does the plasmas, her critical resistance is pretty crazy, especially like at a A2 is kind of insane, you know, with the challenge ring and all that. So while Jack can do her too, like to kind of bypass with the plasmas, against like mutants, it's pretty kind of like slow still, and you can't really parry her at the beginning because in diamond form you're also stun immune, which is actually very, very nice. Another piece of utility. She's also immune to a lot of debuffs. She's immune to bleed, poison, incinerate, shocks, frostbite, cold snap, which makes her a very great Iceman, and underrated Iceman counter, which I will show as well. Fatigue, concussion, and exhaustion debuffs, which is just crazy, man. Like, I do not know what they were cooking when they were making him all the way back then, because that was like before the pre-buff. I'm 100% sure of all that. So, and she just starts with it too. So if like if any opponent just kind of plays it on her, it's like, oh, it's just ignored, which is just so insane, dude. And then with her heavy attack, the way her heavy attack is kind of weird. At times it kind of whiffs when you're kind of close to the opponent. Sometimes it feels like it has like a bigger range, but it just kind of depends on the spacing. And that also makes it harder to punish Emma because her heavy attack is kind of fast. And if you're not like preempting, like knowing she's gonna throw it, she is kind of hard to punish sometimes, especially for, like a slow character, dashing in with like slow dashes, which makes her very annoying at defense because you're gonna take some chip damage in that case. She's gonna slow you down with like her going to diamond farm a lot if she's at max sig. And kind of showcasing some opponents here where like the evading is getting shut down, like Limitrix. You know, you can whenever he heavies into your block, if he decides to heavy, he gets that evade up, so you can't punish it. But with Emma, as long as she's in her teleport form, she can ignore it pretty well. And she just gains a lot of benefits whenever she has like a lot of prowess, both in diamond form and in telepath form. You know, increased damage, blocking, armor, in diamond form specifically, physical resistance, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. Her special 3 also makes it to where she reduces power gain from all the sources, which you're not really gonna use too much. So unless you need it for like some nodes in like battlegrounds or like questing, you're not really ever gonna use it. Her special 1 inflicts a power sting, which is kind of like just whatever. It's really just mainly special 2s you're gonna want to use, and yeah. So she's not really hard to play at all either. She's very easy to use, very easy to understand. It might be kind of hard to like know when to go to a diamond and like telepath form depending on like if you never played her before. But other than that, if you just learn her very well, she's very, very good. Her best like relic is the storm relic, 100%. Any stat relic would be like crit or crit damage, I would say. Now the last rank 5 that I wanted to showcase in my 6th rank 5, getting all the classes to a rank 5 at least once, is Sentinel. I also plan to take up Sentinel a while ago too, back when again like all the rank 5s were like starting to drop and like about to be released. Again, another very good dual threat, very good attacker, very good defender, very, very good defender I should say. Very good sig ability. He's just also another crazy champ. A lot of dual threats in this video, which is crazy to think about. But I love Sentinel. He might not be the fastest like Mcoc or Jack-o'-lantern, one of the best tech attackers out there. Even Iron Man, who's like gonna be like really fast, especially at rank 5 now. Rank 5 Iron Man is pretty scary to think about. Sentinel just does so much stuff that like it's just insane. He's very like versatile in terms of who you can use him against. And as a rank 5, he ends fights mostly like in 40 to 45 seconds, maybe 50 seconds if like a fight takes a little bit too slow, or if the opponent does not want to block, as you see in some of the like footage. And you can see me here being reckless with like Sentinel, but that's just because I can. He's like so tanky. His incinerates hit from anywhere to like 4k like ticks to 3k to 2.5k ticks against some like non-mutant, and against mutant like it's 4k and above. Especially if you like throw off the Sentinel relic. And I'll just say now, if you do not have your Sentinel relic ranked up and you have a Sentinel, please use it and put it on him because it increases the damage so much. It is just actually insane. Now for sig ability, you want at least sig 1, but having him at max sig also really helps him on both an attack and defense, and it makes him an overall better defender, which is just crazy to think about. He's immune to poison, bleed, armor break, cold snap, and frostbite effects. So against some cosmics, you cannot armor break him. I'm assuming you also can't really armor shatter him, but he doesn't really say that. But I don't really think it would just work anyway. Because when he gets to his max analysis charges, which is what you want to do with Sentinel as an attacker, something you don't want to do when you're a defender, but that won't matter because you're not gonna kill him before he gets those max charges. Basically, when he gets his max charges, for those who do not use Sentinel a lot or don't really face him too much, is that at 100% max analysis charges, his specials cost way less to use, so he's like just starts spamming specials, and they can last, and his specials like kind of last a long time. So he's kind of a staller in that regard as well. He takes super less crit damage. He's super like crit resistant, and especially as a rank 5, I do not think you're gonna be like critting him a lot. Now, one very niche thing that Sentinel does that a lot of people might not actually know is that he actually reduces the potency of incoming instant damaging effects from champions. So somebody like Yelena, even though she can't really, I don't think she can bleed him, but her bleed thing is kind of weird. But any character that does like instant damaging effects, like that gets reduced, which is just crazy. And that's for each analysis charge as well, which is wild. And for each charge, he goes against more armor and attack. So he gets stronger the more you get those charges, so, which is very nice. Now, of course, you want to use him mainly against like mutants, but he's very good for a lot of just random defenders as well. A lot of utility. His special one inflicts a very long heal block, and each hit of his special one also gains a chance for an armor break below 100 analysis charges. Now, above 100, you apply, I do believe it's always 6. And his heal block lasts a lot longer of a time, I do believe, unless it's just the same. It just feels longer either way. But mainly you want to be using, for most situations, special 2 for that big incinerate damage. For champions that heal like Sinister, you want to alternate between like maybe one special 1 and then the special 2. And that should like end them pretty fast. A very good counter to 90% of the mutants, minus a few like Bishop. He can't really do Bishop on defense because he's not immune to incinerate, and that will just kind of melt Sentinel if you get a lot of those incinerates on you. But and I show it later. His special 3, you can only use it once per fight and once per quest, and it's very broken, at least to me. Especially like in hard content, is that you basically have a free like 100% revive. And what I mean by that is that the Sentinel bot gets destroyed during special 3, and then it's replaced by another one. Pretty much the same Sentinel bot, you know, model-wise, anyway. Not that anybody cares. But you basically full heal, and you remove all debuffs on you, and all buffs as well, which is just crazy to think about. I don't know what Command thought. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but that is just very broken. And it's pretty much a battleground like automatic loss if the opponent, like, let's say gets him down, doesn't kill him fast enough because he's super tanky with those armors and crit resistance, because by that point he's at 100% analysis. He gets his essential 3, you might as well just quit the fight or like pray that your opponent like messed up way worse than you. But that's not really gonna happen because he will just time you out, or just like, yes, you know, you're just done at that point. But yeah, Sentinel is in my opinion, one of the honestly top 5. Maybe top 3, at least to me personally, like techs in the game. For me, he's top 1 in my heart, but yeah, honestly, I'd say he's top 1 for me. Being top 5, like being realistic, but anyway, he's just very fun to use, very easy. Once you learn how to understand, I hope your AI does not just like go berserker mode when the Intimidate is up. But yeah, he's just awesome. Now, if you can't really afford to use a Sentinel relic on him, which I don't really know why, or if you just don't want to use it and use it more on defense, I would say go for a StatCast relic that has armor, any like resistance to physical or like energy, just make it more bulky. Maybe some crit resistance as well, even though he has like a lot of it. Although having more of it is just like not a bad thing. So yeah, I would say do that. Or if you want to use a StatCast relic for offense, go with something with crit focus or crit damage. Maybe for specials for his incinerates, but I don't really know if that would really increase it. In my opinion, I think his best stat focus is, I would say, just like crit focus as well, like on attack. And for defense, either armor or like any of the resistances for like physical or energy, just one of those really. Or maybe armor, you know, like I already said. Now, with some of the footage going on in the background, you can kind of see like the insane damage he does, especially with like the armor breaks once they go up. Like he from the footage you've been seeing, just hits around like 50k mediums to 40k mediums, 30 for like non-mutant, and it's just crazy. His damage is like, once you get him ramped up like pretty quickly, his damage just goes berserk, man. It is just not okay with some of the damage he'd be doing. Now here with the Wolverine Roman Legends showcase, kind of show off like his special 1 usage, and while the fight kind of like seems slow from like an outside perspective, this fight will end like very fast once He gets the charges up, the armor breaks are up, the heal block is up so he can't heal, the shocks do a lot of damage. Anytime with Sentinel, you pretty much just want to be like, not necessarily be doing full combos, but just throwing a lot of heavies when you can to deal that insane shock damage that takes for just so much. It's just wild, man. So yeah, he goes down super fast. And then, I showcase somebody like Emma Frost. As I was saying earlier, a lot of the techs besides someone like Bastion or Jack-o'-lantern, which Bastion, very underrated Emma Frost counter, I would say, is that Sentinel is one of the best counters to Emma Frost, because once you get her armor breaks up, and I didn't mention it during her showcase, a kind of like breakdown of some stuff she can do. If Emma Frost is armor broken, she auto goes back to the telepath form, and she can't go back to diamond form unless it's removed. So she is, once it's up, once you hit her with that, it's just gone. Sentinel just wrecks her. Unlike somebody like Mcoc or Jack, where the fight would be slow, Bastion does well. Another character I would say that if you can use them, use it against Emma Frost. Honestly, it'd be a lot faster. I don't know how fast necessarily, but it'd be a lot faster. Anyway, so just kind of showcasing some people here, some defenders just kind of doing armor breaks and all that. And because Sentinel is so tanky and immune to a lot of stuff and just gains no buffs on him, he makes like a very good Mcoc counter, and honestly a very good counter to a lot of known defenders. You can do Captain Britain, but the way you kind of want to do is that if the Captain Britain has high sig, you kind of want to try to end the fight with a special 3 to like fully heal, assuming she has probably taken down like a lot of your health from her sig ability, and they're like annoying neuroshocks that just deal so much damage, even if like you're a tech champ. Shout out to Captain Britain, I guess. So that's another counter. Like I already said, great Mcoc counter, great Gene counter. Just does a lot of damage. Like again, most mutants just go down really fast. He can also do somebody like Yelena, but you have to do her like in a very certain way. Get her to that elimination phase very fast, and just throw a special. Save up a special 2, use it, throw it, chuck it, watch her burn. Very awesome, very cool. As we're approaching the end of the video, I just wanted to say that with all the rank 5s that I've acquired now, my main process for a lot of them was that, like, well, I want, a mix of utility and a mix of, them having great damage, great utility overall, like, can be very versatile against, like, defenders, or you be used as attackers, as you can see with, like, a lot of my choices. Really, Black Cat is the only one that I would say that was just kind of like my favorite out of all of them, because she was, like, in terms of like a champion, she was just very fun. And then somebody like Emma Frost and Spiral were ranked up because they were, to me, unique, and I really wanted to use them because they have just a lot of potential, honestly, I would say, when I was doing their testings as rank 5 and all that. So to me, they like have just a lot of potential, and they're just very fun too, at least to me. And for my next set of like rank 5s that I want to do like in the very like far future, they might be more defensive for battleground stuff since I do play that. They might be more niche, you know, just rank up like 5, you know, rank 5 like random characters that a lot of people like may not use, but honestly, I don't really know. I really had to like put more thought into it. In terms of like my next Mystic, I already said it during the video, but honestly, I really want to do Ghost Rider. He just seems so cool, and I find Ghost Rider like really fun. Like way back then, and even now, he just seems like super good. So I hope he's like awesome when he drops, but at the same time, he has to compete with like Madeline Pryor, who's just crazy. So who knows?